Carl's got a great challenge for us with this week's Preppin data. We're looking at Premier League football, and we're trying to get all the results into a format that we can actually use for some analysis. So if we take a look at our input, then you can see that we've turned on the source row number. So we just go back to the input step to show how we do that. So whenever we're reading in our files in the input step, then we have this source row number. We just need to come to the little drop down there and say include field, and it'll be included for us in our analysis. So let's just take a look at that data as it stands there. We can see that we're getting this match day 1 of 38 as one of the field headers. We actually kind of want that information about these first 5 rows of data, but we can see that it kind of repeats in that pattern going down in the table. So we're going to want to extract that information and fill it down basically. So let's take a look at how we're going to go about doing that. So we're going to first of all create a calculated field. So we're going to look at this match day field. Match day 1 of 38 is what it's called, and we're going to look for the word match day and take all of those values and put them in their own separate field. So writing a calculated field saying if contains that match day 1 of 38 field, the word match day, then give us those results. Otherwise it'll just be left with the null, and we can see that over there on our right hand side. So the reason we need this source row number is so that we have the logic of how to then fill down those values. So let's go ahead and do that. So we go to the match day field, we go to create calculated field in the menu, and we choose the fill down option, and that will give us this particular pop-out. So automatically it's detecting that we need the source row number. If you hadn't already included that, it'll kind of just be having an alert here. It wouldn't know what to use in order to order by, but with our source row number in the dataset, it picks it up immediately, and we can see that all gets filled down nicely. So if we take a look, for example, that match day 2 of 38, it gets filled down until match day 3. So that all works nicely. So for match day 1, we can just double click in the null here and replace it with a 1, so that we don't lose those rows in the next step, because we're going to filter out basically all the instances where, say for example, match day 11 of 38, I don't know why my rows have reordered now, but that's okay. We can filter at any time where this is equal to this field here. So we do that just by writing a quick filter to say that we don't want it any rows where the match day fill down is equal to match day 1 of 38. And that leaves us with 197 rows now. And then what we're going to do in order to get out our numbers. So what's different about each value at the moment is just the number rather than the 38. It's going to extract for us the 10, the 11, so on and so forth. So if I go to, it's because I've got both fields highlighted. I was wondering why the options menu looked a bit different. If I go to the menu here, go to split values, automatic split, it's just going to extract the number of what match day it is for us nice and helpfully. So we do that, and we can see that now we're left with this field here. Our 1 has disappeared again, so we'll just have to go and double click and fill in that 1 again. And then we can change these to be a numeric data type and get rid of a few of the different fields and rename that split field that we have. So we've now got our match day field. Phew. A lot of work to get to that place, but now we understand where each of these matches is being played in. So now we can pivot the data so that we've got match day 1 of 38 and field F2 coming together into the same field. So all of the matches in one single field, which is great. And we can see that we've got a lot of these \n's indicating that there is a new line between each of these pieces of information. And if we try and split just based on that new line, Prep doesn't really pick it up very well, even though we can see it there in the kind of view of what our data is looking like. It won't pick up a \n if we put it in the split function. So instead we're going to replace that \n using a char function. So that char function, that char10 is just that new line, and we're going to go and replace it. I chose to replace it with an underscore. why not, basically. You can replace it with any common character that you like that's kind of not appearing elsewhere in the field. So that's now just getting rid of all those backslash n's, replacing them with an underscore. What I chose to do here isn't necessarily necessary. I was more trying to see if I could do it and if it would work. So we can see basically that we had before this calculation, we had a lot of repeating underscores, say where there were multiple new lines. So we have triple underscores somewhere. I think in some cases we also have just double underscores, and some cases where we have just single underscores. So there we are, lots of variety in what we're getting back there. So I chose to do a little regex function, say regex replace, and basically look for any underscore that repeats 2 or more times, and replace that with just a single underscore. So that means that any repeating characters that we have there in our separator will just be replaced by nothing, which is great. And then we've got something kind of interesting happening with our data. So in most cases we have this little play button that indicates that there's this match recap video that is associated with the match that is in question, but some records do not have that. I'm trying to find an example. So, okay, right down at the bottom, this match doesn't have that, and we can see another example there. So we basically want to treat how we clean those rows up slightly differently, because they will, otherwise when we split them up, they won't quite align properly in their different fields. So I decided to just have a nice filter that is keeping only those that contain that play button, and then just doing a split on that underscore and splitting off all the fields and renaming those that we want to keep, getting rid of some of them. So we have our date, our home score, home team, away score, away team. So in the data that we have, the first team and the first score that appears, reading from the left-hand side, that is our home team. The second score and the second team that appears, that is our away team. So just good to remember that. And then the other way around, just filtered it to those rows that don't contain that play symbol, split it out in just the same way. You can see that in this instance we get 8 fields that are generated by the split. In this instance we get 9 fields, so that's what I mean about how the alignment would be slightly off if we didn't do this splitting out into different branches. And then again we just rename these to be consistent, union them back together so that we have all the matches in one table, and change this date field to a date data type. And then we're ready to output and run with this data set. So hopefully that was an enjoyable challenge for you. Definitely a tricky data set to work with to get passed out into this nice table in the end, but hopefully that was quite fun, and thanks for watching.